Welcome to Burning Bright, a weekly podcast presenting poetry and prose from Passenger. The 2,200-mile-long Appalachian Trail goes from Mount Katahdin, Maine to Springer Mountain, Georgia. The first leg of it was completed 100 years ago this month, October 1923, and the entire basic trail was completed in 1937. To commemorate the anniversary, pieces from writers living in Maine and Georgia. First from Maine, Penny Altman's Everyone's Resurrection poem. I want to lie in my bed for the next few months in comfortable clothes, under the covers with the big warm dog beside me. I will stroke her belly and look out the window at the snow when I'm awake, and when asleep, I'll dream a life. It can snow. I won't get up to shovel. I'll grow thin. I've always wanted to grow thin. And sometime in the spring, a grappling hook descending from the sunny sky will gently lift me, carry me through some fresh and pleasant day, and put me down somewhere grassy. I'll figure it out from there. Everyone's Resurrection poem from Passenger, issue 72. Penny Altman said, I was feeling old and I was feeling tired and I thought about what I really wanted to do before I could deal with the stuff I've wanted to accomplish. Everyone's Resurrection poem was my response. I felt the lightheartedness of it in my bones, but the wanting is serious. Penny's poem was about things she wants to do. At the other end of the Appalachian Trail in Georgia is James Wyshynski, writing about what he wants his children to do when he dies. Last will for 3 children. Carry my bagged ashes and 3 helium balloons until you get to the island's seaside. Pick your way onto the rocks, to that one we all sat on. Stop for a moment as you stand at the juncture of 4 elements: granite, waves breaking, wind, and the remains of fire. Marvel, or joke at your dead father's love of completeness. Tie the balloons to the handles of the bag. No need to pray or say anything. Just let me go. Let helium do its work, lifting that sad sack until I get the view I always wished for. The bird's eye of the world, or a distance from it. I never could land on an answer. No matter now. Watch me cross through the ground turbulence and, I hope, into the corkscrew of a thermal that spins me into a speck just below a cloud, as gossamer as grief. Then turn away and take the full step of yourselves back into your lives. James Wyshynski's poem, Last Will for 3 Children, from Passenger's brand new issue 75. James said, My father died when I was 18, and now that I'm almost his age, I realize I lost so much in a maze of grief. The poem is an attempt to provide my kids with at least one quicker solution to that labyrinth. Memye Curtis Tucker, also from Georgia, said this next poem grew out of her family history. She said he was a World War II Army Air Force flight surgeon, and after a medical error that could have killed him, quote, managed to be discharged to save his own life. Here's her poem, Knots, a Family Story. His fishing net is holes in space held together by string, a knot at each corner. A map of each day he sat on the cot, tying knots with physician's hands, working not with black sutures but string. Fevered, grimly holding off death, the flight surgeon had to heal from the war, from his foolish volunteering, his battles to save soldiers his colleagues discounted, and his own bacillus the army doctors decided there was no way to cure. Yet infection weakened, fighting despair, sitting up in pain, he could still tie knots, make a net, inch by inch, as his family watched, hoping someday he could fish again. A net to hold, a net to let go. Days, weeks, a calendar of squares, months of slow minutes. In those stark years, if left by doctors to die in the ward, you were your only hope. That's why, at last, he'd escaped to heal himself with a barely tested serum and time to make a design of his own. Mimi Curtis Tucker's poem, Knots, a Family Story. Knots in the title is spelled Knotts, a family name. I always thought the Appalachian Trail was essentially a bike path, nice and wide and smooth and easy, albeit long. Not even close. That's what friends who have hiked it, parts of it with great difficulty, told me by way of setting me straight. To subscribe to or learn more about Passenger and its commitment to writers over 50, go to PassengerBooks.com. You can download Burning Bright from Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, and various other podcast apps. For Kendra, Mary, Christine, Roseanne, and the rest of the Passenger staff, I'm John Shore.